Welcome back to the Ref Show. It's a Respect special this week, looking at abuse on the field and more specifically at times off the field as well. And we asked whether the FA's Respect campaign, which was launched back in 2008, has really lost its teeth. Mark Lawrenson and Glenn Turner are with me. It's unlikely, I think, Glenn, that in the pro game, any match official is going to be assaulted. I know that it has happened. We all remember Paolo Di Canio a few years ago, and very sadly abroad, there have been some extreme cases, referees even killed on the pitch. But fortunately for us over here, that's not likely. There's not likely to be very much more than a push. Rather different, going back to your background and your training and the situations you were in.
You're quite right that for those 90 minutes in a pro game, you are very, very unlikely to be physically assaulted. In fact, I've never felt more safe, to be honest, than at a Premier League game.
Got 50,000 witnesses.
There are police around, there are stewards around, there are plenty of people who are going to stop somebody getting to you. I mean, if they do get to you, then they were very determined to get there. You're much more isolated on a Sunday morning, Alan, when it's you, 22 men or women and a bloke with a dog, and nobody wants to witness anything. Then you are isolated. It's a lot more frightening. It is.
And I think you get some idiots, don't you, playing on a Sunday? You do. Some villages lose their idiots Sunday morning for a couple of hours. And, you know, I read that case of the week where this guy, the referee sent this guy off, and he's waiting for him. So what? I mean, what can you do? You're on your own. I mean, how frightening would that be? You know, eventually, your only refuge is either the dressing room. You probably haven't got one.
No.
In most
starts changing your car.
Absolutely. So your refuge is your car, and it's just you're coming off thinking, get to my car before I get beaten up.
That can be surrounded and pushed. And
well, I think that's particularly frightening. I really do.
Also, I don't know whether you realise, but in my day when I was local Sunday morning referee, whenever you sent a player off or cautioned a player, you'd write the report out because it's done electronically now, but we used to physically type report. You had to put your name and address on the bottom of the report. So these guys know where you live. Unbelievable.
That's not still the case, is it? Surely.
That's not still the case now. Your name and address doesn't go on.
No.
But they used to.
There's a colleague of yours, an old colleague of yours called Mike Cairns, who's a Premier League assistant referee, who's corresponding with Keith Hackett on youaretheref.com and with the Daily Telegraph as well, about the fact that he's gone back into amateur officiating just for the love of it in Somerset FA. He's had some horrendous abuse to such an extent now. In fact, a car was driven at him in a car park on one occasion, resulted in a criminal prosecution. But he's had so much abuse that he feels that the local FA aren't dealing with it. He no longer bothers to report. He said it's pointless.
All right, devil's advocate, what can the local FA do?
Well, the local FA can support the referee and maybe take the referee's word over the word of a player.
Sure.
But there seems to be cases where players are getting away with behaviour and referees aren't being fully supported. I can't vouch for whether that's the case or not. All I know is that many are referees coming to us and saying they don't feel the FA are giving them sufficient support. Are they justified in feeling that way?
I think they are, yeah. Ultimately, on a Sunday morning, it's very likely to come down to your word against that player's word because nobody else around is going to back you up. The away team are very unlikely to back up the home team if it's been the home team who's been the transgressor. So it's very likely to come down to balance of probability, one word against the other. And the question I would be asking in the local FA is, would this referee be putting him or herself through all of this if it wasn't true? We don't go out there with a vendetta or wishing to cause problems, sending reports in that are fictitious, knowing full well we've then got to turn up to a tribunal, a hearing. We don't want to go through all of that. If you've reported it, it's because it happened. And if it comes down to one person's word against the other, then the authorities should be backing up the word of the match official.
Are referees fearing reprisals?
Oh, I certainly did. I certainly did.
Tell us what happened to you on occasions. You know, any particular ones?
From Sunday morning refereeing, I've had players say to me, "Be careful walking back to the car park." I've had that low level undermining threat to out and out threats of physical violence. I had somebody pull a knife on me once, following a pro game from the Premier League. I've had bags of urine thrown at me. I thought I could carry on. I've had a death threat at home from a Middlesbrough fan saying I was going to burn my house down. You know, I could list them endlessly, Alan. But we've got this skin, this outer skin to us that we just brush it all off, pick your kit up and go back out again. It must be mad at times, honestly.
Would you feel if that happened to you? Would you carry on?
No. As much as you love the game, I think you just get to a point, so you wake up Sunday morning, you're going to do a local game, and you know there's like a few bruisers playing, and you're possibly going to get physically assaulted. Why would you do it?
You've got to be a bit of a masochist, haven't you? Do people say they're strange animals, you guys, are you?
Question I've been asked many, many times, Alan. It's interesting that Mark mentioned rugby earlier. I've always said I wouldn't do it again because I wouldn't make it again. I was fortunate to make it through. I wouldn't make it again because I couldn't get beyond that Sunday morning level now. I couldn't do it.
Solutions. You asked Lauro, what can the FA do? And they're probably quite overstretched in trying to police this. They have many cases. Of course, it's a revenue earner for them. They dish out fines, etc. What reasonably?
Fines are nothing, no, Alan. Fines are nothing.
They're not
so
working
what?
though, are they?
Well, they don't work, but they're just nothing, you know. And if you're a player and you transgressed and said, oh, you found 20 quid, he went, yeah, good luck. And then you go into the referee, I'll see you the next time I play against you. Or next time you referee our game. I think you just, in terms of the FA, you know, they have to come down so much harder. Just first thing, ban players. If it's that, just ban them.
They do, but maybe they should start looking at taking action against the club and hammering them more than they do. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, the worst thing I guess you can do to a player is to stop a player playing. So I'll back that up what Mark says, ban them. Because they want to play football. Yeah. So stop them from playing football. That's what really hurts them. Even down to local level, banning a player for 1 or 2 games doesn't mean anything. He might be going to a wedding the following weekend, so it doesn't matter anyway. He was never going to play anyway. He would have been there, or it's his mate's stag do. So it's 1 or 2 games isn't enough. Ban them.
There's an idea that's come forward from a meeting actually of Sheffield Referees Association. They invited all the leagues in. And the local FA came, and they said they were thinking of introducing respect marshals, people who have been involved in football, perhaps anonymously, to go to matches and observe and support the referee where necessary.
You know, fine. What happens when it all kicks off?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the marshal going to be? He's going to be out of town, isn't he? If all of a sudden somebody assaults a referee, it's going to take a really strong person to wade into that and go, whoa.
And how many thousand games take place every weekend? Have we got enough for these marshals? They're great ideas on paper, these.
You don't think it's
when it comes down to it, would it work?
I don't think it would.
Okay, another one, a respect liaison officer, every team appointing somebody on their behalf to liaise with the match officials and to ensure, or try to ensure, that people behave reasonably. Is that going to work?
I get that idea where you're almost trying to kind of head people off at the pass.
Self-police?
Yeah, so, and just, actually saying to your players or getting the manager to say to players before they go out, about the referee. But you know what? It's the count to 10 moment in the game, isn't it? And, some fellas can't get past 1.75. In fact, they won't know what 0.75 is. But that therefore is I think I don't see any problem with it. Whether it's actually going to work, I'm not sure. They say education eventually will work, but this fellow who's playing Sunday morning football and has had 14 pints of Stella the night before and he's got hangover from hell, and so things go against him. Yeah.
There's got to be a willingness for it to work as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced that every local football team's got a willingness for this to work. They really don't care.
Unless as whoever runs a club and the manager of the team actually says to them, right, if you transgress, you're out the door. But then if you've got an absolutely if you've got an absolutely brilliant player who's a bit nutty as well, you're kind of going, oh, hold on a minute, we need him because he scores goals every week. But I get the idea, definitely. And then also they are warned before the game, and then obviously whatever offence that they commit makes it worse.
We've got a problem on top of a problem because it's a cultural problem at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we spoke about rugby. Yeah. It's just everything. Yeah. I'm always going to take years and years and years.
You're exactly right. I was about to say that. It's not insurmountable. It can be done. Look at rugby. It can be done. Yeah. But this is not going to happen overnight. And there's got to be a sustained attack on it. There has got to be and we keep pressing it, we keep pushing it, and we stick with it until it works.
Over to you, Football Association. I think that's all we can say, really, that
Probably one of the worst passes they've ever had, Alan, but good luck with that one.
It's a hospital ball.
Yeah,
I'm sorry about
absolutely.
that. It is. Mark Lawrenson, thanks very much indeed. Glenn Turner, and thank you for you, with all your suggestions, all your comments. Keep them coming to youaretheref.com, and we'll be back next week to review all the Premier League action following the international break. See you then. Bye.